Wylde here, too.
That's me, darling.
Okay. Then let's move right into the Curtis Wylde. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to proudly introduce to you, making his return to professional wrestling December 13th at SICW in East Carondelet, Illinois. Ladies and gentlemen, he is Volatile, Curtis Wylde.
Hey, welcome to the Wild Side. Long time no speak, Sean.
Yes, it has been a very long time, and ladies and gentlemen, this man that we have on currently has been an inspiration to Sean becoming the Raging One.
Oh,
that's
for
what I
real?
hear.
That is very, very cool. Hi, Curtis.
I actually walked up to Curtis at a Powerhouse show that I attended and thought it was my older brother.
Oh, my goodness.
I did.
Wow.
That is not at all a compliment. I don't appreciate that whatsoever. Don't appreciate that whatsoever. Katie, pleasure to make your acquaintance here. Who else do we have on the show?
Oh, well, I'm Kate. It's my birthday. How you doing?
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You also have Phil. I'm the guy on the soundboard. I've wrestled in and out of the business for like 15 years, doing business with Parka and doing business Punisher around the whole United States. So.
Fantastic. Well, I got to tell you, I'm feeling excited, man. Are you guys feeling it in the air?
I am excited. You know, I've always been a big Wild Child fan. I got to see Wylde in his time in Wicked.
You got to see just a portion of the Midwest Conquest, my friend. I was going to 5 states. I was wrestling in over 30 different promotions. Sometimes I was wrestling 3 times a weekend, 12 times a month.
Now, I do remember the picture that you used to have on your website of you having to wrestle on the foot that you were helping set up the ring earlier that day, and the guy dropped the ring post directly on your foot.
That's right. He cut my big toe in half 6.5 hours before the match. I taped up my toe, got in the ring, wrestled to a 10-minute time limit draw.
Oh, shit, eh?
After the match, I went to the hospital. Come to find out, the toe was shattered the entire time.
Oh God! Well, Curtis, let's get into how you started. I personally know, but our listeners and other people here that are with us have no idea how you got your start in professional wrestling.
Powerhouse Championship Wrestling, man. I heard that a couple of buddies that were in a nearby town to where I lived in Danville, Illinois. They were going to a wrestling school in Spring Valley, Illinois. It was about a 3.5-hour drive, and I talked to them, talked to the promoter, and decided to go up there. Actually, about a year before that, I went to Sam DeFaro's school with a guy by the name of Rude Dog Donnie Farrell. He was on that A&E special about the Powerhouse, about WCW's power plant.
Ooh.
Do you remember that special way back in the day? Anyway, so he took me to Sam DeFaro's
Well,
school.
I don't mean to interrupt you for this. I think we have somebody that knows you like the back of their hand with us.
Oh.
Is that so?
Yeah. How you doing, brother? Been ages, man. How's it going?
Who is this?
It's Steve, dude. What's up, buddy?
Steve Kane.
How are you, Curtis?
Hi, I'm good. How have you been?
Oh, not too bad, man. Good to hear your voice again. It has been like forever, buddy.
Hey, he was just starting to tell us how he got started. Steve, you and I know how he started, but everybody else doesn't. Powerhouse Championship Wrestling, for those that don't know, was one of the very few states back in the early 90s to 2000s that you actually had to be licensed under in order to run professional wrestling shows. At the time in Illinois, not every Tom, Dick, and Harry could run a wrestling show that had money to buy a ring and pay talent. So Curtis got to train with one of the promotions that had one of these licenses, and then I believe it was 2001 they abolished the commission.
Yeah. I actually started with them when the commission was still going in Illinois, so that kind of dates me. But yeah, it was around the end of 99, 2000 area, and I was first licensed to professionally wrestle in Illinois.
Nice.
That's a nice fun fact, but I also went on to become licensed in Missouri, Kentucky, and those, I do believe, were the only states that I needed licensure.
Yeah, boy, the Missouri one's a real you-know-what.
My only problem I have with the Missouri Commission is that they try to charge you for taxes for money that you didn't make. So they tried to come after me for some tax money for, I believe it was the overall revenue of the show.
Oh, jeez.
And so I just told them that I never worked in Missouri, and there we have it.
Yeah, Missouri will tax you. Missouri is known for taxing you for the overall venue of the gate. It's stupid because how are you responsible for the draw? Like, you're just there to wrestle. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, they tried to charge me like $8,000 in tax money for 2 matches I had for NWA Missouri.
Holy
yeah,
hell.
I did the same thing when I did some shows over there for some other companies and promotions.
Yeah, they will try to gouge you.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
they even get you on the gimmicks.
Yeah, they will get you on every dime you pull in.
T-shirt sales, everything.
Absolutely. But that keeps it on the up and up in Missouri. You know, it keeps it where only quality promotions can run on the side of the river and that type of thing. But East Carondelet, Illinois, is just on the other side of the river from St. Louis, but they are one of the top promotions in the St. Louis area. I mean, SICW has been around for about 40 years, and basically they're the new generation of wrestling at the cage. I'm sure Steve remembers wrestling at the cage.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. I know. I can tell stories about Sonny Rogers, my trainer, having worked on that show with Harley Race. Harley would pick him up for a suplex, and he'd walk him around the ring, and Harley would go, "Hey, look at that blonde with the big tits in the front row."
That sounds like Harley.
Yep.
Well, and you're actually going to be on making your debut for SICW on a show where Jim Cornette will be making his return to SICW.
That's absolutely correct. The legendary Jim Cornette, manager of champions, is going to be there firsthand when Volatile, Curtis Wylde, and Wyldefyre make our return to professional wrestling. It's going to be outstanding.
Awesome.
It's going to be good. I'm excited. I mean, my energy is up. The hair on my arms are standing on end, and I just can't wait to get back in the ring, man. I just can't wait to part the curtain, get in front of a live audience, and show exactly why I'm one of the best in the Midwest, show exactly why I'm one of the best in independent wrestling, and show exactly why nobody can do what Curtis Wylde can do on a professional wrestling show.
I can verify that.
I can bear witness to that fact. I witnessed the man go through what we called the Hell on Earth match.
Oh, my God, that sounds treacherous.
Well, 2 out of 3 falls, and all 3 falls were, I believe, TLC.
Oh.
Yeah, the entire match was TLC. I didn't do a whole lot of hardcore stuff back then. I was never a hardcore wrestler type of guy, but it just so happened that if you push me hard enough, I'm going to push back, and I'm not going to lay down for anybody. And somebody pushed me just hard enough. We had 2 out of 3 fall match. Falls count anywhere. Anything goes. Tables, ladders, and chairs. It was hell on earth.
Now, wait a second. You wouldn't lay down for anybody. Come on. I got 2 words for you, buddy. Matt Maverick.
Oh.
Oh!
He took advantage of a young wild child. I'm no longer a child, sir. I'm Volatile.
Wow.
Curtis Wylde. That's VCW.
Volatile Wild.
That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Holy crap.
Well,
Yeah.
And he definitely did not lay down for the man that he had the Hell on Earth match with. And see, this was before your time in Wicked, but the Hell on Earth match was actually with Sin.
Oh, okay. Ah, Mr. Beans. Ah, yes.
And, man, I tell you what, I had never seen two people go at each other the way that these two did, because they were chucking chairs at each other and just, oh, man, it was, it was absolutely crazy.
That line. Sometimes wrestling goes a little too far, where it's not just a performance, it's not just entertainment anymore, and it's personal, and that's exactly what happened with me and Sin, and that's why it went to where it went. However, through that, a friendship fell out of it. So we kind of joined forces after that for a period of time.
Wow.
Yeah, but I mean, I haven't heard that name in a long time. Haven't heard a lot of names in a long time, but you know a name that I've been hearing a whole lot lately? That's Jim Cornette.
Oh, hell yeah. We've had him on here. He's a hoot.
Yeah.
Oh, my. Yeah. We had him on for the roast of Kenny Bolin, and Jim Cornette's famous line was, "What lie did they tell you to get you on this program?"
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
That was one of the first things that came out of his mouth. He was really great. You know, I thought I
Jim was a hoot and a half.
He was a hoot and a half.
Jim was a hoot and a half. I mean, his first comments were, "Who the F is in charge here?"
Exactly.
That was about to be my first comment. I got to be honest.
You know what? I don't understand why, Steve. I really don't understand why you just censored yourself, because you're allowed to work on here.
Because I don't talk like that, honey.
Like
you know that.
This is
true. It sounds like Kate is in charge. And if you gentlemen know what's good for you, it'll probably stay that way.
Yeah. The older one and the wiser one runs the boat around here.
Oh, you bitch.
Hey, you're the one who called yourself older.
Yeah. I didn't say old. I said older. That could mean...
Yes.
Yeah, it could mean anything.
Yeah.
But,
well, of course, that still got
show
you
our true
beat, honey.
colors to being from the graduating class of Jesus and Moses, guys.
Oh,
you guys could do...
Oh, okay. Now I'm
going to
I did.
Now
I'm going to get rude. You know what, Sean? You can get on your knees and give me a breeze, okay? That's what you can do.
Now here's what you should do, Kate. Instead of aging, from here on out, you don't have birthdays anymore. You have upgrade days. So instead of aging, you become, say, Kate 3.0.
Hey.
It's a whole new system with all the problems of the old one.
Yeah, without Matt Hardy.
Fucking A.
There you go. So,
Curtis, you also
Matt Hardy
got
stole
to
my hand
travel.
That's my story, and I stand by it.
Yeah.
Curtis, you also got to travel when Wicked brought in Jerry Lynn. You were responsible for bringing Jerry Lynn to the venue. So I know you've got to have some road stories from your time traveling with Jerry Lynn or Headbanger Mosh, even.
Oh, hell yes. we had one of the Headbangers on last week. We had Thrasher on last week.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah,
I actually shared a room with Chaz in Chicago because I was just beat from the show, and we had some good times, and I take every opportunity that I can.
Did he bring his portable Yahtzee game with him?
No, we actually played video games on the television in the hotel.
Oh my gosh! Wow, because Chaz has a handheld Yahtzee game that he normally brings with him. So I figured you guys might be taking turns back and forth. Because I work with him too. So yeah.
But Jerry Lynn, we've actually formed a friendship. I haven't talked to him in about a year or so, but every time he was coming to St. Louis with Ring of Honor, he'd make sure to get a hold of me, and before you knew it, it would be Curtis Wylde and Wyldefyre in a strip club with 20 guys from Ring of Honor, or doing an after party with WWE, or hanging out with the guys from TNA at the Hyatt downtown.
Now, speaking of after parties, I did hear about what happened to poor Jerry Lynn when he went to the Wicked after party after the first WWA show, and I felt so horrible. And Steve, you're going to know who I'm talking about when I say this name. But evidently, a certain homeless guy thought it would be fun to hit on Jerry Lynn.
Oh my God!
Steve, I actually had to be Jerry's savior that evening. That's one of the reasons why Jerry and I are so tight now. But I escaped. I escaped Jerry Lynn out of an awkward situation.
Don't say tight in connection with that guy.
Never mind.
You're talking about the other guy, not Jerry, right?
Right. Yeah. Thank you, thank you, Emily Littella on the other end.
You've worked with some of the biggest names.
Do you guys want to hear a fun fact? Since you both know who we're talking about, do you want to hear a fun fact about that individual?
Sure.
Why not?
He has eyeballs tattooed on both cheeks because he likes to watch.
Oh my God.
Oh
my God. Oh my God. That's bad.
Curtis, here's the scary thing. You know that fact.
Well, I've been in many locker rooms with him.
Yeah, exactly. You know that fact.
And boy, you got my sympathies for that one. Oh, jeez.
But Curtis, you have been able to work on shows with some of the biggest names in this industry. What were some of your mark out moments, or you were booked on the show and found out so and so was coming, and we're like, man, I just can't wait to meet this guy and pick his brain for a little while?
Well, that was probably the show that I had my toe cut in half on, because on that show there was going to be about 900 people in the high school that night. There was going to be the Road Warriors, the Nasty Boys, King Kong Bundy, and someone else. I believe one of the Road Warriors fell out. But Iron Sheik. So I was definitely pumped about that show, and then I cut my toe in half 6.5 hours before the show.
Yes, that's a famous story, at least up here we know about. Oh, my God. That was quite the story.
Kind of a Chicagoland legend, but
yes.
But what they don't know is that the reason that I even performed on the show was because my family was coming from 4 hours away, and because those guys were going to be on the show. There was no way they were going to take me off of that event.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that was my last evening with Powerhouse Championship Wrestling.
Yeah. So did you and Shiki have the cocaine in the booth after the show?
Oh, my God. And the cheeseburgers.
I can't say that I got to party with Iron Sheik, but I did get to sit Indian style, listen to a lot of his stories. One of the coolest things that happened was I was on a show with the Road Warriors, Nasty Boys, and Iron Sheik.
Oh.
I don't think that King Kong Bundy was there, but I'm listening to the Road Warriors and the Nasty Boys tell road stories because I'm that guy who's going to sit Indian style and listen to the vets feed me information. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Act like a fun.
Exactly. It's like I'm sitting around a campfire. It's a beautiful thing. But I watched those guys who I looked up to when I was a kid see Iron Sheik walk into a locker room, and they jumped up and became 8-year-old boys before my very eyes. They started screaming and yelling, "Oh, my God, we can't believe you came, Poppy!" They ran over, gave him hugs. They were little boys. Transformation,
Yep.
So
well,
cool
all of those guys are a blast.
For Curtis from the chat, it says, you've been off the radar for a while. They want to know if you're familiar with the current top talent in St. Louis and Central Illinois, and whom among them 5 names you would like to go against.
Okay. Well, when I decided that I was going to get back into the ring, it was about mid-August, and I started following the scene again. I kind of got bit by the wrestling bug again, wanted to see who was out there, who I wanted to compete with. Some of the names that pop up instantly are Jake Durden. He's a guy that's making some waves around here a lot. Nick Brubaker. Wouldn't mind putting on some wars with that cat.
Oh yeah, you guys would be a good matchup. Seriously.
It would be a good time. And I'm not exactly in my prime, man, but I'm working hard to get better than I ever was. So I have no doubt that we would put on high-quality matches. You got a guy that's about to come back on the same show as me, Sean Vincent. That guy can put it down in the ring. He's one of the standouts from Gateway Championship Wrestling that kind of cared more about his responsibilities at home, so he didn't go with the whole delirious Daisy Hayes group out there, Matt Seidel.
Okay.
But now that you're speaking of it, and he may not only be a local wrestler, but he is back on the radar, and Evan Bourne.
Oh, Evan Bourne.
Yeah.
Matt
hell yeah.
Seidel. Matt Seidel is a St. Louis boy.
Yes, indeed.
And I would love to go one-on-one with that guy.
I have a question, Curtis. You're down there in that area. Would you ever make a jump over to the Kentucky, Indiana area and consider doing some work for IWA Mid-South?
I would not consider doing work for IWA Mid-South.
Okay.
And I know, being on the internet, that you guys are probably shocked by that answer. But I was told, I don't want to name names, but I was told by two separate WWE agents that if you send in a tape with anything from IWA Mid-South on the tape, they're going to throw the tape in the trash immediately.
Oh, why?
Ooh,
what's
interesting.
to do with that? That's not.
I was told this by two separate agents.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, how the fuck did Punk get? I mean, obviously they knew who Punk was, but they've used some of
have been
Punk's
his Ring of Honor work.
IWA Mid-South footage in some of the DVDs.
I guarantee that IWA Mid-South is not why Punk got booked.
Yeah, Sean. That's strictly ROH. That's strictly ROH. That's what gave him the job.
Well, not even just that. He was doing the stuff on the East Coast, man. He was doing the what was that? The Superstar 8 where they had. Right. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I know which one you're referring to. Right. PWA.
So.
He was doing a lot of stuff.
Yes,
on the East
PWA.
Coast, like 92-minute matches. You know.
Yep.
He was doing 92-minute matches with Chris Hero. So that kind of stuff probably got him booked, but and I haven't worked for Ian. That's not at all my style. Like I said, I was never a hardcore guy. I can work with it. I'm versatile, but that was never my style. And if I can make a punch,
IWA to me anyway, from the years that I was a fan and kind of still am a fan of IWA to me was about more than just the violence, because IWA truly, at the time period that they had Punk and some of the other talent that was starting to be brewed, they really had a who's who of locker rooms. I'd say in the 2002 to 2004 time range, because they had Jerry Lynn, you had CM Punk, you had everybody that you could think of. Delirious,
Eddie Guerrero, God rest his soul, worked that. Yeah.
But
it was a different time and a lot of situations
they had
different.
The best talent, not only in the United States, but they would bring in outside talent from Japan, Mexico. They brought in some of the best for a period of time. Unfortunately, you could have a 5-star match, but if your next match has barbed wire wrapped around the ropes, it's going to kill that 5-star match.
Well, and that's the truth of life.
Or, depending on your audience, the 5-star match is going to kill the barbed wire thing.
One or the other. You can't. And, I've struggled with that even with my company. You have to have a good balance. You can't say no violence at all like some promotions up here in Illinois are doing now, to the point where they don't even, blood is not even on their radar. And, it sits there and mesmerizes me, because if you look at Facebook and follow the wrestling community fan pages on Facebook, the number one thing that you see posted is they want a return of that Attitude Era. But Curtis, you and I and Steve know, and even Phil knows, it can't be a blatant ECW ripoff. It can't be a blatant WWF from the 95 and up period ripoff. It's got to be something fresh and something original. And
right.
Well, Sean, do you know what I see going on in the Indies right now?
Well,
Sean, let me cut you off real quick, because if you do something from the 50s now, it's original.
Yep.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. I mean, if you were to bring back like a Gorgeous George type character in that, these kids don't know who
that was one of the things
Gorgeous George was.
That I did. And I'm going to be doing another one shortly. But one of the things is, if you were to come up here to a show in Illinois and ask a fan what the top two feds were in Illinois, the two answers are going to probably be Dreamwave Wrestling and Pro Wrestling Blitz. It's going to be one of the two answers, I guarantee you. And the problem with that
nowadays
is you and I were brought up in a different time period, and even with Steve. Back in the day, and you know this, names were not brought in every damn month. They were brought in over a 4-month, 6-month, even 1-year period. So when the name was there, it fucking meant something, and they drew like no tomorrow.
Well, that's just like anything nowadays. You got to make wrestling mean something. You have to make wrestling mean something, because if it doesn't have an emotional investment coming from your audience, then they simply don't care, and they'll turn the channel.
Well,
you have to be able to touch people on an emotional basis.
Well, the thing that I have a problem with, and I guess it's because, I was trained by Benito and hung around with Tim Lyle and some of you older guys, so I got up on the old school mentality, which I wouldn't trade that for the world. But I have a problem when you say that you have to spend $2,000 because you have to have a name there in order to draw money, in order to have, quote-unquote, a good show. That's where I have an issue. Because you can book a smart show without having to bring in names every damn month and still make money and still have really good shows that are going to send the fans home happy.
That's absolutely true. And it's like back in the day before Dreamwave, when there was... what was that Jay Repsol was doing?
Revolution
Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, there was that. They had a guy on top there, Double M, and he was the guy who would work the names that would come in every 4 months.
Yep, and they built him as one of the top stars there. And why they started this trend, because they started it and Blitz picked it up. They started this trend, we're going to bring in a name every month. Dreamwave stopped bringing in the names every month. Their attendance plummeted because people got used to the fact of seeing so-and-so every fucking month and paying their $10 or $12 to be able to go see so-and-so. And they cannot break away from that habit because they're the ones that started it.
They got spoiled, and that's what happens when you give the fans what they want all the time. Sometimes you got to make sure that the fans do not get what they want.
Yeah, and you're not building up your audience by making your own stars.
They want it worse when you don't give it to them.
I had a conversation last week with Steve Carino and Jimmy Jacobs about this exact topic. And really the funny thing about it is what we see is all these companies are trying to find a happy medium for their audience so they can get as many people in the doors. This means pulling certain people in draws. What we find is that the companies are not staying true to the original concept of what the company was built and based on. And it really fucks with people's heads. There's companies out there that used to have homages to hardcore old school wrestling, and now it's like half the show's family oriented, half the show's this, half the show's that. Like, make up your fucking mind. It's confusing.
Right, exactly.
Because everybody's trying to find a happy medium.
Do you know what sets the Attitude Era apart from recent wrestling, or what's being called the reality era?
Let's hear you.
Because you had a storyline for every athlete on the show, top to bottom.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Crash Holly had a storyline that made people care. Crash Holly wasn't a big draw, but because his storyline made people care, it brought people into the arena.
Yep.
And that goes
right on the coffin.
Every person had a storyline. Every person had a purpose. Nowadays, there is no purpose.
Right, and you have now. Let me cover this with you. We have a company that is the #1 wrestling company in all of the world. We have somebody that's the champion that has not been seen on pay-per-view. He's not even going to be at the next one.
Oh, Lesnar?
Yep.
Yeah, at first I thought they were doing the right thing with him, and now I'm seeing that it's not as right as I thought it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm kind of a Paul Heyman guy,
and then the rumors,
and
then of course the rumors fly around about his health being an issue too, and it's like, okay, if he's having that type of problem, then maybe something needs to be done to close that arc and get somebody else with the belt that will be able to be around.
Let me present this question. How many times in the last 2 years have they done some kind of tournament or something to determine the new champion?
Quite a few.
Thank you.
I honestly can't say, man. I don't follow mainstream as much as I should. I've been following more local stuff lately.
Right.
Can't say that I blame you.
We don't blame you for that, but it's they've done it a couple times, and fans are getting sick of it. They need a stable champion. I'm not saying we need another CM Punk kind of champion where he's got the title 465 or whatever days, but that was good because it proved that somebody could hold on to that title for a very long time.
Who would you put the strap on? Who is there right now that has that marquee value that you would put the strap on?
Not John Cena.
There isn't anybody. There isn't anybody right now. They have to keep building. They have to keep, pushing towards that goal. I mean, you got Bray Wyatt, you got Dean Ambrose. They're not ready yet. They're on their way. I see early Stone Cold in Dean Ambrose right now, but he is by no way the Stone Cold at the peak popularity of Stone Cold.
Well, a lot of people say that the WWE's next guy is going to be Seth Rollins, and I don't know that Seth is truly ready for that pressure. It's not that I don't think he can handle it. I worked with Tyler before he was Seth Rollins. I worked on one of the last shows that he did in the Quad Cities with him, because I was with Big Daddy and WTTF at the time, and he did one of his last Quad City shows with us, and, I don't know that he's the answer to the solution either.
Okay, we have some background noise and it's driving me crazy.
He's on the same level as a Bray Wyatt or a Dean Ambrose right now. He's not on the level that they want him to be on. He's an early Shawn Michaels right after the barbershop incident with Marty Jannetty. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's not ready yet, but he's on his way. Roman Reigns is not ready yet. Now, here is where a guy like Triple H would get a whole lot of heat if he came back and won the title, because he would be that marquee guy that you could keep the title on for a period of time, and I can guarantee that at least 2 out of the 4 of you probably sighed just now. So that's what a collective wrestling audience is going to do. They're going to be pissed that Triple H has that title, and then they're going to want to anyone, to take it back.
Yeah. Of course, that's the thing, though. And this is something that I've complained about because, of course, in the era that I grew up in, a champion held a title for a year or more, and that.
Yeah.
I'm sitting back, and I was actually, we talk about Paul Heyman. I sat around and I was watching that DVD the other day, and in there they have the segment where he says he's not going to be at the next pay-per-view to watch Phil, hold on to the title for his record-breaking 455th day, and to the current wrestling audience, that's a huge deal. And it's like, guys don't even know what it was like back in the day. I mean, a guy would travel around with the championship for 2 years easy, and nobody said a word. Oh my God!
Look at a guy like Bruno Sammartino. Look at a guy like Bob Backlund. Look at Iron Sheik.
Yep. Hey, Nick Bockwinkel.
That's because they wanted fans to care, and they didn't care if the title switched hands all the time.
Right. Exactly. That's why when it was a title change, it was huge. And it made front covers of all of the after magazines and that, because then it meant something.
Yeah, because everybody knew, and then there were things like Wrestling at the Chase, when you may see Terry Von Erich versus Ric Flair on a Friday night.
Yep.
As title unification, downtown
St.
Louis. And that's kind of what SICW is bringing back, is that old school mentality that making the fans care, storytelling, that really made professional wrestling what it is. That's what SICW is all about.
I like that.
Southern Illinois Championship Wrestling. And I don't believe that they're afraid of letting guys feud for a year, because I'm seeing things like that, and that's how you make fans care.
Well, why don't we give Kate some time with Curtis? Well,
that sounded real nice, didn't it?
Well, she's the birthday girl after all.
Yeah,
okay.
Here's your birthday present. You get to talk to Curtis for a while.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
I actually don't have a whole lot more time, guys.
That's okay. I just want to know a little bit of if you've worked with any Canadians and who you like to work with that's Canadian, and if they're different from working with anybody else such as American.
Sean Vincent. He's one of those Canadian cats. He's a Canadian hero, Sean Vincent. He was always a guy that we had some bitter battles. And the only problem is that, out of the ring, it's hard to understand a good French Canadian.
Yeah. Oh, they're not.
And then there's guys that speak Carney in the ring. There's guys that have really deep Southern accents, so you can barely understand what they're calling. It's just something that you've got to kind of roll with the punches and communicate best as possible. And basically, if you're just standing out there telling another man that you're going to whoop him, then that's pretty easily understood in all languages.
That's wicked. So what you're saying is you do enjoy working with Canadians, and whoever has that background noise better stop it. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Yeah.
Well, hey, before I get off here, I want to let everybody know where they need to be on December 13th. They need to check out SICW. They need to be in East Carondelet at the East Carondelet Community Center, 832 State Street, East Carondelet, Illinois. Reserve your seats, 618-286-4848. Of course, we got Jim Cornette, the legendary Jim Cornette, manager and champion, special guest referee.
That's wicked.
With Red River Jack versus Ricky Cruz, with Big Daddy, with Red River Jack, and Travis Cook with Ricky Cruz. Of course, like I said, Jim Cornette's going to be the special guest referee. We've got a Texas Death Match, Night Train Jerry Jackson and Muhammad Ali Vaez. They've been getting hot and heavy lately. One of them is of Middle Eastern descent. The other one is a veteran of our great armed forces. So they're going to go head-to-head in a Texas Death Match. And then we've got the Classic Championship going to be defended from champion Flanagan against Chaz Wesson, the old school warrior. So that's going to be a great match. Got Daniel Eads, Kim Kasa, Bull Bronson, Shiloh Jones on the card. Sean Vincent returns. And, of course, the biggest story of all of them, and you can check this all out at SICW.org, CurtisWylde.com, is that Volatile, Curtis Wylde, and Wyldefyre are coming back. That's right, VCW, the one-man Wild Machine, Wild Man Express. I am the Lion of the Lou. the spark of Forest Park, the demon of downtown, the wolf of West County, and the predator of Pine Street. If you want to see me come back, you want to see me get into the ring, and you want to see me what I do better than anybody else on the independent scene, then you need to be in East Carondelet, Illinois, 7 p.m., December 13th.
And please make sure to reserve your tickets. Tickets are limited. The place can seat about 300 people from what I'm being told by my sources. So please get on the SICW website and reserve your tickets now because they are selling like hotcakes, and you don't
going to sell out.
On all of the action at SICW next weekend, the 13th, and you won't want to miss it. You've got
you have to reserve your seat.
You've got the return of Sean Vincent, and of course
the phone number for that. Let me have the floor. The phone number for that is 618
professional wrestling in that area. The return.
Hey, Sean, hold on. Curtis is trying to talk here.
Stop talking.
You're going to have to reserve your seats, man, because it is going to sell out. It's got Jim Cornette on the show. I'm coming back, so you know that there's not going to be a seat in the house. And any seat that's purchased in the house, they're buying the whole seat, but they'll only need the edge because Volatile Curtis Wylde is going to be in the ring. But the fact of the matter is that you better reserve your seats. It's going to sell out. 618-286-4848. You can check it out at SICW.org or, of course, CurtisWylde.com. That's WYLDE, because I like to be different.
You always have been, my friend. You always have been.
I appreciate you guys' time. I'd love to do it again. Steve, Kate, Sean.
Yeah. Hey, man. I miss you, brother. I miss you, man. We got to hook up sometime.
I miss you guys, too. And now that I'm getting back in the ring, you never know if our paths will cross. You know what they say in the wrestling business. Never say never.
Exactly.
Well, thank you, Curtis, and we will get back with you and get you back on here at a later date when you've got a little bit more news for us, because I'm sure the SICW title is in your sights.